Welcome to Two Queens and a Joker, my narcissist ex and me. My name is Brenda. Sara and I each had a relationship and children with the same narcissist. We both have found our way out and found our way to a meaningful friendship with each other, trauma bond and all. We hope to share our stories so you know you're not the only one who has endured the crazy-making experience of being with a narcissist. Two Queens and a Joker, my narcissist ex and me, is sponsored by the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Center, where we provide therapy, classes, and support groups for people healing from narcissistic abuse. Contact us at www.narctrauma.com.
What about that meme that, I don't mind being the villain in your story if I get my piece. If my children get
Yes.
their piece and I get my piece, I will be the villain all the way.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that says it all. It really does. Because, there's the other piece of that is that you don't have any control. They're going to say what they want to say, even if they tell you, I'm not going to do it. If you think you're having a rational conversation with whoever the Joker is in your life about not smearing you because of how it could damage this or that, none of it matters because they lie all the time. You're not going to get a true commitment to not slander you, basically. So smear campaign, I have to say this, it's interesting to me. The people that I work with are survivors of narcissistic abuse. And I hear it commonly that people will say, oh, I never had the love bombing stage, or they never did the smear campaign to me. But I think what we think about are like for love bombing, like grandiose gestures of, bringing you flowers every day or taking you on a trip to Italy or whatever. Right. And it's absolutely not that. And same goes with smear campaign. It's not always about going, I saw Brenda out sleeping with 10 guys. It's not something like that. But it's like, I remember one time he wanted my attention. I was at work. He came to my work and he's like, well, if you don't talk to me out here, I'm going to go in there and tell him that you're stealing money. And it was a job that I was the bookkeeper at Sam's Club. I think I talked about this before, but that's a smear campaign, right? He's threatening right there. And then all of the things, even the things like what you may have heard about me, what I heard about Kathy, the first mother of his child, he was constantly smearing her to me. And then I heard the same things he said about Kathy to me, I heard he said to you, and I thought, oh, he could at least come up with some new material, right? Creative.
Narcissist's handbook,
Yeah.
this is what you say,
Mhm.
put it on repeat. All you're doing is changing who you're taking it out
Yep,
on.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Why put the energy into
No,
making a new
he's got
story?
it down. It's something he actually knows how to do well.
Yeah. Yeah. And it worked before. Right. I believed it. I
Oh,
believed that Kathy was the worst person and Alex needed to be taken away from her. May have been the case, but not for the reasons the Joker said. Yeah.
that goes to us women needing to believe in each other again. And just because he was with somebody else before you doesn't make that person a bad person. Maybe they actually know something that you should
Exactly.
know,
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very good point. This version of me in my 50s would never, I would never assume, even, I mean, not even with him, but just with anybody. If I hear a man say my ex is crazy, my first thought nowadays is that you're the problem.
Well, yeah.
Mm.
Why do you even have to even explain that to anybody?
Yeah. If your ex is really the problem, that's something you would talk about with your ex, not
Yes,
everyone else. You've talked about a lot about his friends and his family believing his version of things versus yours and getting to the point where you just finally said, I'm done. Go believe in, like you said, your piece is worth a hell of a lot more than keeping people who clearly aren't invested in your well-being in your life. And I think that's something every person needs to kind of get comfortable with thinking about. You really do. When you leave a narcissistic relationship, no matter what it is, your partner, friend, family, whatever it is, you're going to see loyalties, where the loyalties lie, or who is the dangerous person to walk away from. And it's usually the narcissist. So they just stay
yes,
in the cycle, right? They're going to get the wrath and they know it if they turn on the narcissist, and they will stay loyal to that person, which is what a flying monkey is.
exactly. And they don't really, the narcissist doesn't really show their colors too much other than to immediate family and their family.
Mhm.
Especially, they don't show it to friends and outsiders.
For sure. Not at first,
Yeah,
anyway. Yeah.
no,
More distant people. They're all
yes.
trying to keep that image going. Did I tell you? I can't remember if I told you this or not, or if I just thought about telling you. It's been a week. Let me tell you. The other day when you said that the jewelry store called you to their credit, I'm just going to call it a credit reference.
Mhm.
Did I tell you I told the group? Because I went into the group right after that.
I think that's all you said is that you talked to the group
Yeah.
about it.
The timing was great because you had just told me and I just went into the group and I was like, I got to tell you guys this. I said, it's probably not healthy for any of us to want revenge. I don't know. But when we can get it, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I thought that phone call could perfect.
It was just like perfect timing. It was a long day at work. It was hot, just in a funk that day. And to get a phone call on my house phone that nobody knows the phone number, or anything like that. I mean, I'm still old school. I use it for faxing. That's about it. So like the phone rang and we all like, what is that?
Yeah. What's that
What
sound?
is that noise? And so I jumped up and go looking at it, and the caller ID is all Daniel's Jewelers. I'm like, I'm like, okay. And first thing that popped in my head was like, oh my God, someone's trying to steal my identity or something like that. But I like answer and they're like, hi, is this residence? And I said, hi, no, not for about 5 years now. I said, can I help you? And they said, well, we're calling for references and credit because he has applied for a Daniel's credit card. And I laughed at first, and that's the evilness coming out in me. And she's like, is there something wrong? And I said, I can tell you. I said, the man's $30,000+ in arrears for child support, can't help with his children's medical, dental, and nothing, cannot offer them a dime since 21, not a dime to help them. Doesn't pay. I still live in the family home, and I pay the mortgage, I pay the insurance, I pay everything, yet he wants to split everything 50-50. Right. She's like, I don't know if I can use, the credit reference. And I went, well, I'm just saying, I don't even understand why he's using my house number. The man has not lived here in over 5 years. Yeah. Restraining order. He's not supposed to do that kind of stuff. She's like, well, I'm going to get off the phone. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you have a good day. And she's like, yeah. She's like, I think you're better off. And I went, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I just, wow. Okay. It just shows you. Out in the world, I'm a great father. I love my kids. I'd be there for my kids. I support my kids. I do everything, and let him believe his bullshit that he's telling strangers or the new supply that he has. Go ahead, but it's there. You know it's there.
There's plenty. He's left a trail of evidence behind him. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It was funny when I told
But it was a much needed phone call because it did put me in a better mood. Yeah. Just thinking, wow, okay, wow, he's gone to the far side.
No kidding. Yeah. When I told the group that it was a jewelry store, one guy spoke up and he said, oh, that's the third person for your podcast. And I said, yeah, we've already talked about that.
We're already keeping the chair warmed.
Yes, so just waiting.
I don't wish anything bad on her. I don't know her. I have no hard feelings for her. I'll tell you, all I feel is pity.
Same.
I hope she doesn't have to go through what we've been through.
She will.
I really do. I really, really hope she doesn't. Because I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
No, I wouldn't either, except for him. I would wish that he would experience what he's put other people through. But I feel for her. I think about that sometimes that, he's just going to keep leaving a trail of people behind him that he's just screwed over in a way that most people can't understand. But I just thought that was hilarious. And then I was talking to Alyssa about it, or when Alyssa came in and said, wasn't that a violation of the restraining order? Because she and Jay were talking about it, because I told her first. I was like, you're not going to believe this. And then she said that about the restraining order, and she goes, and she thought about it for a long time. And I think it was the next morning, she says to me, he's an asshole, but he's not a stupid man. She said, do you think this was on purpose? And I thought, was it on purpose? Do you think this was a way to poke at you, Sarah?
Oh, that's funny because my stepmom, Chris, sent me a text saying the same thing.
Did she?
Or was it my mom? It might have been my mom. No, I think it was my mom. And she said, do you think that he filled that out and put your number down to try to make you go in a tailspin? Like, woe's me. Oh my God, what am I going to do? He's going to give my jewelry for his fiance. I'm like, it sounds like him. I couldn't tell you for sure, but let me tell you, it didn't. I have to be proud of him. It didn't put me in any tailspin. It just made me feel sorry for her. And then happy that I got it. Wow, the nerve, the nerve.
Yeah. Well, and it brightened your mood. You said that right after it happened.
I'm like, the stupidity. Oh my God, the stupidity of this man. Why would you use my house number?
Right. And that's what I was saying too. Like, why would he do that? And then when Alyssa said that, I said, oh my God, I think you're right. I think you're onto something there because he is not stupid. As I don't want to give him any credit for that either. I mean, he makes stupid decisions,
Yes.
but as far as like IQ goes, he's smart.
He's a smart man. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna, no,
Yeah. But
he's a smart man.
yeah, I wouldn't put it past him if that was
No.
his goal. And I don't know if I told you this either. This is something that I think about every time we talk, and then I never think to say it, or every time we talk about the new supply, because she lives in Ramona, right?
I don't know if they still do, but they did. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so when I was still friends with him after, all the addiction stuff, when all of that was going on, I was trying to decide about buying a house or if I was going to move to New York because Alyssa had moved, and I was trying to figure things out. And I was just like, there were a couple times that he would go with me and just kind of drive around neighborhoods, see what was available, where I wanted to live. And one time he's like, "Did you ever think of Ramona?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." I never once thought about moving to Ramona. And he's like, "You should go. Well, let's go up there. Let's drive up there and you'll see there's some really nice houses up there." So we did. We drove up there and then there was this one house he wanted to show me. And he's like, "I saw this one and it was really nice. It was really big on the end of a cul-de-sac at the top of a hill." I know now in my soul that's her house. I'm serious. I would be shocked if it wasn't her house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
because she cannot, I mean, she's got to hold her own. I mean, she appears to be a very strong woman, you know. Unfortunately, I'm scared a little bit because she hasn't met the real Joker yet.
right.
Hopefully I hope you don't, but he doesn't go for losers.
No, most
So
narcissists
yeah,
don't. Most narcissists
yeah.
go for smart,
Smart.
successful
She's
women.
got a job. So that's all I know. She's got a job.
Yeah.
And that, well, and I think like when you're talking about like, was it trying to get a rise out of me? Well, he didn't get a rise out of me when he said it 3 times at the restraining order.
Oh,
He made it
right.
a point 3 times when he was on the stand to say,
Of
well,
course.
my fiance, my fiance, my fiance works for, and
Yeah. No reaction. Yeah. Good
I'm
for you.
I'm happy she works.
Yeah. Sorry
Good
she's
for
with you.
Like you have steady supply of money. There you go.
Somebody to be your sugar mama. And that's really, it's, if you think about it, he's manipulating her through this too. He's using her. So,
I'm sure I'm the evil person.
yeah.
Which I'm okay. I'm the white devil. So if we protect our children, call me whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I would, like you said, I would take anything to just have my peace. I would love to not ever think about him again. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, this is not going to make that happen, but it also wasn't happening anyway.
No, I don't
He,
think that there ever be a point where you can get that man out of your head.
no, because you see him
unfortunately.
in your children's faces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I have children.
Yes, same. And that's something
I can say I'm thankful for him for that fact.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Same. Yeah.
And
same.
that's giving him a shitload of credit.
Yes. Thank you for your
shitload.
DNA.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
I think as time goes on, I see less and less of him in them. I do.
Good.
I think that's very healing for me as well as the children.
Yeah, they're not seeing them in the shadow of him or under the umbrella of him. They're taking on their own identities and you're seeing who they are independent of him. That's wonderful. Did we go through a smear campaign well enough?
I don't know if it ever smeared me because I didn't care to talk about it after, I didn't ask people, oh, well, what's he saying about me?
Oh, yeah.
But, I really didn't care.
Yeah.
So if he did smearing, the only thing that I can think about when I'm smearing is that he tried to make what he did to us, what he did to the children, null and void.
Yeah.
He tried to say that didn't happen. And to me, that's a smear.
It is
a smear against our memory. That's a smear against our mental health. The mental health my children are still going through, the mental health I'm going through, the mental health that your children are going through, the mental health that you still have to go through because you were with this man.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you're with another man, it creeps in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. I mean, and I had a nightmare about him just like 3 or 4 nights ago, right? You were in it too. And it was really weird because I was kind of observing, like I was observing him at the time of when you two were separated and he was like recovering, whatever. It was just really weird though, because I remember being in the dream going, "Oh, he's crying." Because I was at a restaurant with him in Santee. We were at some sushi restaurant, and I think he had just gotten out of the nursing home. Or I forget. And so we go over there and we have dinner, and he's just a wreck, and he's crying about you, and he's just heartbroken, and he just can't believe the marriage is over, and she wants a divorce, and blah, 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 blah. And I just remember thinking, how do you not believe this? But in my dream, I was having like this whole reliving that whole thing, thinking, well, the reason he's really crying is because Sara is his stability. And now he has no stability and he doesn't know what to do. And when I woke up, I thought, well, there's something there, right? Because he doesn't have the insight to, I mean, not that he was even trying to be insightful, but he doesn't have the insight to say, oh, I'm sad my marriage is over. I've caused this or anything like that. But how's it going to affect him? Well, he doesn't get to wear the mask of being the great husband and the provider. And not that he was doing a good job of that, but trying to put on that facade.
Oh, well, he made sure the outside world thought he did for a
Yeah.
very, very, very long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, when your wife kicks you out for good reason, you don't get to do that anymore, you
I
know?
think that might be one of the reasons that some of our shared friends kind of like went to his side, because you don't confide, you don't tell them, even like none of them knew about the restrainer. Like you didn't know about the restraining order until he was in the hospital and he
Yeah.
told you, because I didn't think it was their business. I didn't want to make them have disdain towards him or
Mhm.
let him know this is who he is.
Yeah.
You choose your on your own who you want to be friends with, who you want to stay in contact with. I don't want to, and that's me protecting him. Still, I should have been. Look at this fucking asshole. Did this. He did this. He did this. He did this.
Yes.
I mean, but it would have taken days to go through the list. But I didn't
Mm.
because I didn't need to. If that's what you guys want, then that's what you guys want. And me telling you the truth isn't going to change it. So I'm not going to waste my breath.
Right. Why would you? Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think,
he plays a good woe is me. I
oh
mean,
my
he should be
gosh.
getting an Emmy.
Absolutely. I think we were talking about him being tearful, and it reminded me of when I left him in Colorado and he just was wailing in the house. And then you said something about him being in tears after when Thomas walked all that way home from the activity center and him, the Joker, trying to turn on the waterworks.
You guys so much. I wouldn't have done this and been so upset if I didn't love you. I wouldn't have hurt you. My emotions were too high.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have done this if you didn't make me, right? And
Yeah.
why don't you just say what you're trying to say? That's
Mhm.
what he means. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's those alligator tears and just the false apologies and all of that is just really repulsive.